Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Now we go into the Wolves versus Chelsea game. This is your match preview for a very important game, I might add. We do need 3 points in this. We cannot drop more. Obviously the game against Everton didn't go as planned, nowhere near, we lost, but we got kind of lucky because Tottenham drew. They dropped 2 points. Liverpool drew. They dropped 2 points. Now we find ourselves in the midst of the top 5 technically, because Leicester and Southampton have somehow caught up. So now it's not just 2 or 3 teams in the title race. We got about 5 or 6. Anyway, it's going to be a very interesting race till the end. We'll see how it all goes, but a win over Wolves would be perfect. And then after that, we have 6 days of rest before we go to West Ham, or we welcome West Ham to the Bridge. That's going to be a very interesting one, but it's nice that we have a load of rest until the West Ham game, so it means we can go all out tomorrow against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, before we get into today's nitty gritty, obviously we're getting used to the background. I hope all of you are enjoying it. Champions League trophy over there, only team in London to have done it, obviously. But talking about the Champions League, I am going to come to my thoughts on the Champions League draw at the end of this video, so stick around. After I've given the preview to Wolves versus Chelsea, I'm going to give you my opinion on how it's ended up for us, because yeah, the worst possible draw has probably happened. So yeah, it's not a good day. Anyway, we'll get to that at the end of the video. But before I get into the actual preview, I'm going to ask you guys, if you are new, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button for me, as it helps me out a lot. So thank you all so much. Now, in terms of this preview, Wolves versus Chelsea, as I've said, it's a must win. And I'm kind of thankful that we're playing against a Wolves team that don't look as threatening as last season. Last season, you know, Portugal FC, I mean, technically they still are Portugal FC, but last season, Wolves had this aura about them that they were going to punish you. They were going to just bombard you with attack, and they were going to get goals and be absolutely solid at the back that you can't get past. Now, that balance has kind of disappeared. In attack, they're not so threatening anymore. Obviously, they have Adama Traore. That is one that we need to keep tabs on. We just absolutely have to keep tabs on. And when I give you who I think is going to be in the starting 11, those fullbacks have a big responsibility. And you're going to understand why when I get to the starting 11. But in defence, Wolves haven't really changed. They are still solid at the back. They will still try and grind out a result. But as long as we can try and break them down, I do predict that they're going to try and sit back and play in the same manner that Everton played against us, where it was more on the counter-attack and waiting for the occasion. We need to learn how to take chances and break teams down. But ultimately, what I want to see from this team tomorrow is that we want to go down the middle, not rely always on the flanks. I'm not saying abandon the sides, abandon the wings, abandon the flanks, abandon the channels. No, I am not saying that. What I'm saying is utilize it when you have to. But when you have to utilize the middle and you have to try and bring some creativity down the middle, and you have an option to go down the middle and create chances and try and score goals that way, well, do it. Because if you're too one-dimensional, the opposition's obviously going to suss that out. They're going to shut down the flanks and you're going to be left with absolutely nothing. We have to try and play a very balanced game tomorrow. It's not just one way and that's it. No, we need to try and incorporate 2 or 3 different methodologies in order to try and get past a low block or a team that's just sitting back waiting to counter-attack. We need to be aware that on the counter, Wolves will be dangerous, especially with a player like Traore. You just know the man runs at 500 miles an hour. He is going to blitz past whoever is in front of him. But that's where we need to be cautious. And I think as long as we go into attack, we try and get as many goals as possible, we penetrate through a low block. Obviously, Wolves, as I said, are going to sit back. We have had some success this season where we've gone up against low block teams and got through and scored and won. We need to do that tomorrow. No questions, no options. We need to get that job done tomorrow. Now, in terms of team news, it's pretty much the same story as the Everton game, but Frank Lampard did confirm that Christian Pulisic is available. He did suffer a little bit of a twinge to his hamstring. There was a little bit of caution, and that's why he didn't feature against Everton, but he is in the squad. Personally, I don't think he's going to start. That's just my prediction. I don't think he's going to start tomorrow, which is why I have come up with a rather interesting way of playing for tomorrow, which I think many of you are going to be in accordance with. And then when Pulisic does come onto the pitch, we can switch it up. So let's get into the starting 11 and what I think Frank Lampard is going to go with. So Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi are both still out, so that's where we need to really think about things. And if Pulisic's on the bench, I will start off with a formation of a 4-1-2-1-2. Yes, it's the first time I'm implementing that this season. Every single preview I've told you guys a 4-3-3. Without any wingers, I think we need to try something. Against Everton, as I said, we just kept relying on the flanks with wingers who are not wingers. And it just didn't work, especially with someone like Kai Havertz on the right-hand side. Then we brought on Tammy Abraham to play on the left flank. I mean, it's not working. It's just not working. That's just not what I would choose to do. So that's why I think focus needs to be narrow. Focus needs to be on the creativity that we can come up with in the middle and try and break through Wolves' centre-back pairing and hopefully get goals that way. So a 4-1-2-1-2, I would go with Edouard Mendy in goal. No questions as to why he needs to start. It's Edouard Mendy. Petr Cech 2.0. At right back, Reece James. Reece James is going to have quite a shift on him because if we are playing in a 4-1-2-1-2, Reece James as well as Ben Chilwell at left back, so those will be the two fullbacks, they need to put a double shift in tomorrow. Why? Because there's no wingers in this system. So when they bomb forward, they are going to act as our wingers. And then they're going to have to track back and become defenders again. So they got to play double duty. There's not much of an overlap, unless if our midfielders drag themselves out a little bit wide and help contribute that way for the fullbacks to go on the overlap. But if there's no overlapping, they're just running up and down. And they've just got to put a hell of a shift in tomorrow because they will be acting as our wingers. So Reece James, Ben Chilwell as right back and left back. Our two centre backs obviously have to be Kurt Zouma and Thiago Silva. Hopefully they have a very good game tomorrow and contain any threat that comes our way from this quite interesting Wolves side. Now, DM, so in the 4-1, right, N'Golo Kante. That has to happen. We just know there's no option but for N'Golo Kante to play as DM because right now he is playing as the best DM in the world. Even against Everton, I thought he had a good game. I thought he was great. Kante is playing absolutely brilliant in this new position of his, which technically isn't new, but you know what I mean. You get the gist. He can play anywhere. Anyway, fantastic DM so far, N'Golo Kante. I hope he keeps it up. In terms of the two midfielders just in front, this is where we need to, really start to think about what we're going to do. Because it's a 4-1-2-1-2. It's a narrow formation. There's no wingers. So, technically, these two, in the little diamond that we have in midfield, are still playing as eights. So, with that in mind, I would say Mateo Kovacic on the right-hand side of N'Golo Kante and Mason Mount on the left-hand side of N'Golo Kante. That's pretty much the standard. That is what we would do even in a 4-3-3. But, ahead of them, we put Kai Havertz into his preferred number 10 position now. Now, this is where it's a good thing personally. Why? Because now we have two 8s and a 10. We got two 8s that play as 8s and we got a 10 that plays as a 10. So without wingers, I think we will be stacked with ability, creativity and potential down the middle. And I think without wingers, this is where we need to focus on. I think we can create a lot of triangles, a lot of passing lanes, and loads of space created with all those players really getting the ball to each other's feet very, very quickly. And hopefully, we play very quickly tomorrow. That is something we need to do. So, Kai Havertz in the number 10 role, and then in front of them, two strikers. Two strikers, not one, two. Let them support each other. Obviously, without wingers, maybe one of them can drag themselves a little bit wide to assist, whether it is one striker on one side or the other striker on the other side. But it's something where many players will have to add that little bit of extra effort to benefit the team if we don't have any wingers on the pitch. So the two forwards for me will be Timo Werner and Olivier Giroud. And I think those two will complement each other very well. We know the ability that they both have to get on the score sheet. They are both our top goal scorers at the moment, 1 and 2. So hopefully we find ourselves in an advantage with this system. Now, when Pulisic comes onto the pitch, we go back to a 4-3-3. And whether it's going to be Kovacic or Mason Mount to come off, or Kai Havertz, whichever one comes off, that will make way for whoever is going to be playing as an 8, bring back Timo Werner to left wing, put Pulisic on the right wing, or vice versa, because Timo Werner can play on the right wing and Pulisic on the left. But because Pulisic is not starting this game, it's key that, we need to try something new. So, when Pulisic does come on, whichever wing he's going to choose, Timo Werner on the opposite side and Giroud up front, and hopefully we get 3 points. That's all I'm asking. 3 points, Chelsea. That would be flipping amazing. Now, my score prediction for tomorrow, I am going to go with a narrow Wolves 0, Chelsea 1. I think we're going to be a little bit more cautious. I think Frank Lampard is going to make us a little bit more solid defensively and to try and get us to react on attacks, quick moves, in order for us to get goals, rather than have to try and just dominate the play, take our time, wait for Wolves to sit back, wait for Wolves to settle, let them get into position, and then we just make it 10 times harder for us to penetrate through. So I think Frank Lampard's going to try and get us to just be defensively solid and try and get the occasion. Much like I think Wolves are going to play. So this is why I think it's going to be a tight game, and it's going to be that one goal that gets the winner, and hopefully it's Chelsea Football Club that gets that goal. Now, Champions League draw. What a shambles. What an absolute shambles. We have been drawn with none other than Atletico Madrid, the hardest team in the flipping competition, probably on par with Bayern Munich or just below Bayern Munich. But we were never going to get Bayern Munich because we finished as group winners, and so did Bayern Munich. So we got Atletico Madrid, who came second in their group, and right now they are without a doubt the hardest defense to get through in world football, which makes it just, it makes life just so much harder because their attack is very, very good and their defense is indestructible. So, it kind of makes me worried as to how we're going to get through 2 legs. The benefit obviously is that we play away first and then we play the second leg at Stamford Bridge, which is obviously the benefit of finishing as group winners. But that's going to be an absolute hard game beyond belief. And honestly, if we get past Atletico Madrid, I will happily say we will go on to win the Champions League. If we beat Atletico and knock them out, oh my God. We are definitely one of the favourites. Definitely. But it's going to be one hell of a tie. One hell of a tie and one hell of a challenge. It's going to be very, very difficult. We've got quite a few months until we get into the Champions League last 16. So there's still time. Anything can change. We might find loads of form. We might plummet. Atletico might drop. Atletico might get better. We don't know what's going to happen. Injuries, this, that and the other. We'll see when it comes to the time. But overall, I'm a bit gutted at that draw. I didn't want Atletico. I wanted a safe last 16 tie, and then for things to get harder, because we eventually have to play the big teams. That's just being a realist. But I want it to be easy first, and let us get that confidence. We've just been shoved straight in to play the flipping hardest team in the competition. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Let's focus on the Premier League for now. Let's focus on going top of the league because we can do it. Fingers crossed we get the job done tomorrow against Wolves. Make sure you watch the watch-along because I will be doing a watch-along just like I did for the Everton game where we will be watching the game live and you'll see my reaction to what is going on. So make sure you are subscribed. Hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button for me. That helps me out a lot, so thank you all so much. So yeah, watch-along tomorrow and then straight after that, the match review will be uploaded for you guys. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see all of you tomorrow on the watch along. Have a good one. Look after yourself. See you tomorrow. Take care and peace.